Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to give you guys a rundown today on meeting Bodanza all the way till today. I met Bodanza this year at the Preserve Championship. I was talking to Broderick, making some collaborative videos with him, and Bodanza happened to be in town, and we just all ended up hanging out. I was talking to Bodanza more about the business side of disc golf and all that type of stuff than I was talking about form or anything. I don't even really know if we threw together because I know I was super hurt at the time. Talked about YouTube and talked about business and talked about selling discs and signature discs and all types of stuff. And we just kind of became friends from that. If you guys know me, or maybe you don't, I don't watch like any disc golf coverage. This year, since I've been out, I did watch like European Open, I watched the Worlds, I watched USCGC, and I watched Pro Tour Finals. But that's just the four biggest events. I wasn't able to play, so I was kind of trying to live through some of my buddies, I guess you could say. Meeting Broderick and Bodanza got me more into like disc golf vlogs and disc golf content. Before, I really only used to watch Simon's stuff just because, one, he's very entertaining. Two, I felt like his videos are very well made. He's also one of the best players in the world, putting himself out there and vlogging and editing and doing all that. So I kind of just enjoyed his concept of sharing his story. Fast forward, I was been watching a lot of Bodanza's videos. He posted something regarding form. And I just texted him and said, hey, like, I think I could help you. I have knowledge, expertise, whatever, to not only have taught myself, but also to understand and actually be able to implement it. I think a big difference in like YouTube coaches or people who aren't that great at the form, I feel like it's hard to get someone to do the feels. Not that they can't know the right thing to do. You don't have to throw it 600 feet in order to coach or help somebody. Just like in tennis, you don't have to serve it 150 miles an hour to be able to coach someone how to play tennis. But I do think that when you have someone as intricate and as like focused and as caring as Bodanza is, those feels really mean a lot to him. And we learned that. There was a lot of cue words. There was a lot of getting him to just feel something and then kind of letting his brain run with that feel and that kind of throw and see where he takes it. So one thing I was really able to offer him was those feels. I know what they feel like. I know what it's about. I know all of that. Then I also know how those feels can degrade or not be as good when it comes to tournament time or big pressure situations. So I felt like more than anything, I was a good option to help Anthony simply because of like my background, not only in like form, but also in competing and winning DGPT events. Fast forward to like the couple days before texting on like Friday, he ends up coming here Monday. So I mean, Saturday, Sunday, it's like a 2-day delay between when I was telling him, hey, all this stuff, I think I could help you. I think we'd be a good team, to him actually showing up. So he had texted me in that span of time and said, hey, do you think we can get to 500 feet? Well, I, again, haven't really thrown with Bodanza. And on YouTube, it's really hard to see how far someone is throwing. So I was like, oh, yeah, like I'm thinking when someone asks, hey, can you get me to 500 feet, that they're stuck at 450 or 470. So I was like, yeah, like, let's do it. We'll get you there. So he comes here and we talk, and I tell him, the first thing I tell him pretty much when we get in the truck, we start talking about form and the game and everything like that. And I tell him, hey, at the end of the day, this is not a distance clinic. Like, I'm not here to teach you how to all of a sudden throw it 600 feet. What I want to be able to do is let's get your form to peak and let's get your percentage down. Because what happens, right, if you throw it 1%, you're probably going to, if I threw it to the camera, I'm probably going to hit this camera every time. Now, you put the camera 500 feet away, I'm probably never going to hit it. He came here throwing 430 feet. So I told him, hey, if we can get you now, instead of throwing 90 to 100% 430, if we can get you throwing 60 or 70% 430, then we really won. Because even though it's the same distance, now you're way more controlled. You can use your discs and trust the line and all that stuff. Because like I said, even as great as I am, or Calvin is, or Paul Macbeth is, or whoever your favorite player is, it's still very hard to throw it as hard as you can or close to that limit and still have full faith that you're going to hit not only the angle, but the line, but the height, and get, be able to control the skip, all of that. So I'm a big believer of like down tempoing shots. And even if the hole is only 350 feet, maybe just throwing a real soft driver or a real soft 10-speed disc, something like the composite era. That was kind of my thing when I started working. Before I even saw him throw a disc, is that, hey, my goal is to get you to be better more often than it is to just have us hit 500 feet in a field and be like, oh, the video is complete. So through the days, we worked on it and worked on it and worked on it. And I felt like he was really making good strides. And I think he did make incredible strides. We threw in the field, we threw at the course, and we threw in my garage. So my whole entire garage floor is turf. There's a huge net in there. I hit golf balls into it way more than I ever throw discs into it. But it's still a very good facility for someone like Anthony or myself if my throw is feeling a little off to be able to go practice in there and just get those feels down, because you're not relating the throw to a result. So Anthony might have had some really good throws in the field, but maybe they turned over too much or he missed the nose angle or whatever. So he's not actually thinking in his head, oh, that was a good throw form-wise. He's thinking, oh, that didn't do what I wanted. We need to change something. So I think throwing into the net, I know even for me, hitting golf balls into the net really adds, like, I just feel what I'm doing. You could feel if you hit the middle of the face, you can feel, kind of how it would fly. And that gives you a better idea of what's going on instead of just relying on solely the result. We did that. Anthony's form got nearly perfect. I mean, we have pictures and videos, I'm sure he's overlaying on this, that show him in like perfect positions in the garage. So we ran into this thing where we went to the field and he just slowly, kept trying to throw farther and try harder. And so that form that we had worked on in only a few short days, so it's not a habit yet. Anthony in 6 months is going to be able to go to any field and throw at 90 to 100% again and hopefully retain that form. But the problem is we weren't there yet. And so he was, overdoing it, and he was trying to throw way too many shots, and he was trying to change too many things at once, and then also trying to hit 500 feet. My biggest complaint was while he was fixated on the cameras the whole time. And I get it. That's his job. Anthony, he's probably one of the best content creators I've ever hung out with. The amount of dedication he puts into filming and angles and editing and watching it to every last little second, creating the thumbnail, creating the title. I mean, he's got to be one of the most dedicated people in the sport to both disc golf and content creation. So if you're a fan of Anthony, he's earned it. He's done a great job. I gained a lot of respect for him, not only as a player and a person, but also as a content creator this week. So shout out to Anthony for that. But he was just so fixated on the camera. He wanted to throw to look at the camera and wanted to throw to look at the camera. And I was trying to break him of that. And finally, we were at the field, or we were actually at the course. And we were like, hey, it was his idea. He said, hey, let's put the camera away and just play some holes. I'm like, whew, thank goodness we're finally getting to this point where we're going to detach this form thing from the camera. So we play, 6, 7, 8 holes, and the guy threw it like a superstar. And so then I used that as an opportunity to say, hey, look, listen, I've been kind of wanting to tell you this the whole time, but part of him coming here was obviously filming the journey and showing it to his fans and his people. So I understood that there was like a fine line here between me telling him not to film, but also telling him like, hey, like we only have 5 days to do this. Like I need you to focus on throwing, not on filming. So he made the choice on his own. He said, hey, I'm going to put the camera down. Let's play some holes. And I think he then realized that like he was relying too much on the camera for these feels that you have to feel in order to actually like do it. You can't just like feel it through a lens, because if Anthony was able to look at a form and just learn through the lens, he wouldn't have came here. He would have watched my form or Simon's form or whoever's form he likes the most, and he would have just looked at it and copy and pasted it into his brain and thrown like that. So my main thing is we have to feel these throws. We have to feel what it feels like to hit these angles and hit these gaps and do all that type of stuff. Once we kind of jumped the camera hurdle, I really feel like it started to pick up. So in the first day, we added I'm just going to conservatively say 40 feet to Anthony's throw. Right there, day one, first day. And then we had a little bit of a roadblock. The first day, he overdid it. He threw too much. I don't know if it was a hydration thing or just, his body wasn't used to throwing all that. It was also like 104 degrees here in Arizona. So that's not helping anybody do anything when it's that hot outside and you're trying to throw a couple hundred shots. So day 2 and day 3, his arm was like pretty sore. So we kind of had to take it a little bit easy, but I think that was a good thing for him. He was able to watch the video, edit it, kind of see what he was doing, see what he wasn't doing, and go from there. As of now, I think Anthony is in a really, really good place to start ramping it up. And as you guys have followed this journey, you've seen that he's become more comfortable, he's become more confident. And I think overall, we're in a really good spot for Anthony to take his form to the next level. So another thing that I was pointing out to him is that I think at times he got discouraged because he didn't see that 500-foot distance shot, or he didn't feel like he was improving much. That's normal, but I also think that his expectations, and he's really hard on himself. And I think that kind of would have held him back if I wasn't there to kind of be like, hey, dude, like, we got to snap out of this and let's focus on the actual task at hand. We can feel bad or feel like we're not progressing later, But like as of now, like we're making incredible strides. When he came here, he was throwing 400 to 430 feet in his words. Like pretty good rip for him. Like to go, maybe if I rip it really good, go 440. So first hole of Fountain Hills, he parks it on a hyzer like this the whole way, 390 feet over water. I mean, that's, if you flip that up or you flex that shot, that's a, 500-foot shot. So he just didn't, he was throwing the shots that would equate to 500 feet. He was parking 330-foot holes with his Envy, which would translate if you go, from putter to distance driver on the right line to 500 feet, but he wasn't seeing that 500-foot shot. So he was kind of getting, not discouraged, but he was just getting low down on himself, thinking that what we were doing wasn't actually working. And I was trying to say to him, hey, dude, look, if you watch my videos, they're not edited very well. If Anthony could sit me down at my computer for 3 days and show me how to edit, but the first video I make is not going to pop out as good as Anthony's video or better, right? So that's what I had to tell him about the form. Like, hey, you're already making really good progress for this form, but you're not going to get it overnight. And you're not going to just wake up one morning and go, oh, my shoulder hurts. I'm a little tired. It's hot outside. I'm going to go throw my career best shot. So back to Fountain Hills, we play, 11, 12 holes, and he's absolutely just lacing these shots. I mean, ace runs on 440-foot holes, parking shots with his Envy, throwing great. That video is on my channel. Go check it out. And then he throws my buzz in the water, and he gets in, chest deep, freaking soaking wet, looking for my disc. He's kind of flustered and bothered because he loses my disc. And the rest of the round really didn't go his way. And to me, I wasn't that worried about it because I'm like, hey, you just played 12 holes, probably better than you've ever played 12 holes in your life. In my opinion of what I've seen of him on YouTube and what he was kind of describing to me. But those last, that little finishing stretch kind of took him down. So we were sitting at lunch and I'm like, hey, are you okay? Well, yeah, I'm just kind of discouraged. And I kind of had to give him, not a reality check, but I kind of had to tell him, hey, dude, look, your expectations are really high. You're really sore. It's really hot. We're just learning. Like no one's going to expect you to come out here and hang out with me for 14 minutes and throw 500 feet. You're getting a good baseline. You're only throwing it 60, 70% still. So we gained 50 feet and we dropped 20, 30% on the effort level, which was a huge win for me. Overall, we play the rounds. He's still putting great. And now his upshots are even better because he's more controlled. His body's in the right position. And so we're just grinding on it. Fast forward to Thursday. We're playing some disc golf. We're filming some videos. We're doing whatever. And I can tell he's kind of starting to the morale's starting to pick up. He's starting to really understand. And he's tired. So we didn't do too much on Thursday. We kind of went through in the field in the morning, threw in the net a little bit, relaxed, took a nap, chilled, had some short cheese tacos. And we went up to Marcus's house and just enjoyed a nice dinner, hung out. And, he got to meet Marcus. We talked some finish line business and we kind of chilled. We woke up Friday, the day he flies out. We go to Vista del Camino. And this is where I really seen a vast improvement in Anthony's, not only his game and not only his form, but also his mindset towards the form. He's hitting these lines. He's ripping. He's throwing the Glow Supra from finish line and he's absolutely just shredding it 330, 340 feet dead straight at these baskets. And I was just so impressed with how he kind of woke up and it seemed like there was a new person that showed up that day. And he absolutely played great and he was having fun and we had a blast. And, he was birdieing these holes that are really hard and he was throwing really good shots. And, overall, the gunite hole there, you're throwing straight up this hill, straight up this huge face of gunite, up onto this elevated basket, about 390 feet. And he's throwing controlled hyzer and parking it. I'm pretty sure he parked it with his Firebird. Throwing a Firebird 390 feet uphill. And that hole typically plays into a headwind. I don't recall the wind at this time, but I don't care what it is. Throwing 390 feet uphill into any wind is very impressive. And he literally had it 10 feet away, parked just on the left. And he had a distance driver, his Destroyer, 40 to 50 feet long of that target. So, he threw it 440 feet uphill. And just had pure control. And also, as you guys, if you watch the video on his channel from our Vista del Camino day, the guy made every single putt. So not only did we improve his form, not only did we improve some distance, now we have his percentage of throwing down, we have his accuracy up, we have his confidence up, and the other great parts of his game, putting and stuff like that, is still remained. We haven't messed with his game to the point where we're starting to oh, this is going to take you 3, 4, 5 months to like get back to where you were, and then we're going to have to build from there. He came here at 100% throwing 430-ish. He left here throwing 450-ish, 450, 460, right in that range, throwing 70%, but still hitting his line, still hitting his angle, and then just banging absolute massive putts. So overall, from start to finish of the week, we started with him with a goal being 500, and I accepted that, not knowing if he threw 490 or what. Like, I just figure if I was going to say, hey, I want to, dunk a basketball by the end of the week, I'm already grabbing the rim. I just need someone to help me get that little extra bit to get the ball over the rim. Him and I, we kind of realized that our goal could change, and, it's not going to be an overnight transformation. And we kind of went through this little slump of his body being a little hurt, him being a little frustrated with some of the things he thought he might have been doing wrong. And overall, when we left here, I was very, very pleased with the product that we had created. And I think that his form is very good. We filmed a glitch-only video, and he threw the disc like perfect most of the time. And if it wasn't, it was just a little bit of a too much hyzer. But he's ripping it, 300-something feet, dead straight, perfect, no wobble, no anything crazy on the flight. It was just a very, very good and very well-controlled game. And not saying he didn't have that before, but when you start adding 20, 30, 40 feet of distance, it can start to get a little more wild if you're not doing the right things with your body being in the position. From start to finish, I think we made huge strides, and I think with Anthony's work ethic, he already planned to work on his form for 3 or so months. We just gave him a pretty big head start from, hey, you're going to learn this all on your own for this whole offseason and see where you get, to, hey, we're going to give you a bunch of gold nuggets, and then you're going to work on all those gold nuggets, refining them throughout the offseason and see where you are. Because I personally think that him adding 30, 40, even 50 feet of his own would have taken 3 months. So now I think, we already added that here. And so now I think when he keeps tweaking it and messing with it and working on it through this little stage he has until February, March time when he wants to go on tour, that I think that he's going to have, 70, 80, 90, 100 feet of distance, just because we gave him a little bit of head start. Big thank you to you guys for following along on this journey of this form change of Anthony. Big thanks to you guys who are fans of Anthony. Big thanks to you guys who are fans of me. And big thanks to those of you who are fans of both. Or if you just learned about either of us in this series, thank you so much. Thank you to Anthony also for trusting me. Your work ethic is impressive. Your game is becoming impressive. And I hope to see you out on the Pro Tour soon. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one.